Today on Top EVT, we'll take a look at how we can stay safe from mass surveillance. What are the steps you can take to protect your private data? Welcome to Top EVT. This is me, Jamie. As we know, mass surveillance is a fact of our life now, and what if you have to keep some of your data secure, or you want to maintain your privacy from not just the government who might be doing mass surveillance, but also from hackers and people with hostile intent who want your data for things like scamming you or for things like creating identity theft and many other fraudulent works. First, we'll take a look at things that everyone can do, simple things that everyone can do, and it doesn't matter if you are a tech genius or you are an old person who doesn't know much about computers. These steps are really simple and you should be able to follow them. We'll later on go into advanced things that only people who have a bit of computer knowledge would follow easily. The first thing you can do is create a VPN. A VPN is a virtual private network. It is able to extend your private network across through the internet, and using VPN you will be able to save yourself from geographical surveillance. The mass surveillance will not be able to pinpoint where you are surfing the internet from. So your true location is always hidden. You will only appear to be surfing the net from wherever your VPN is terminating. They can't find out where you have started the VPN from. This is a simple thing that everyone can do, and it just takes opting for a VPN service. There are various VPN services. Some of them are free and some of them are paid. Paid services, of course, are better and they will give you a better service. You can take a look at OpenVPN for a good free option. Some of the good paid VPNs are ExpressVPN, SafeVPN, PureVPN, Hide My Ass, and ViperVPN. That's VYPR. IPVanish VPN is also good. All of these have various pricing, so just try to get something that works good with you. Using a VPN, your internet speed might get a bit reduced, and it will also create higher latency, so your pings will be higher. A VPN is a simple and easy way that can be used by anyone, and once you are in a VPN, you will be significantly safe than you surfing the internet without a VPN. The next simple tip that we have for everyone is just use your incognito window or in private browsing or whatever browser you're having. It will have a private mode. Using those private mode, you will be significantly safe. Most of the mass surveillance actually happens, and most of the tracking by smaller organizations or hostile people like hackers happens using cookies. If you are using private mode, what happens is these cookies are only staying as long as your browser is open. As soon as you close and exit your browser, all of these things are logged out and these cookies are destroyed. So it gives you a better protection against these kind of things. If you are using VPN with private browsing, what happens is you're significantly safe than 90% of the population out there. The third step for simple users, create really strong passwords and keep them safe. If your passwords are really simple, then it can be broken. And nowadays we have really powerful computers that can actually break passwords. So don't use passwords that just contain dictionary words. That's gonna be hacked easily. Get passwords that are really hard to break, which have a really strong character count and really variable characters. So it will be really hard to break those kind of passwords, and that will give you more safety. Using just these 3 tips, you are safer than 95% of the public on the internet. That's how powerful these 3 tips are. Use your VPN, use strong passwords, and use anonymous browsing, that is private browsing. With these 3 tips, you will be safer than 95% of the people on the internet. Now I like to point out that I didn't actually mention simple common sense steps like keep your antivirus updated and your operating system and everything updated, because these are common sense steps, and if you're not following them, then you're just being dumb. You are just walking out in the rain without an umbrella. This concludes all the steps for simple users. Now if you are an advanced user, stay along. Now coming up are some tips that might not be that easy to do for simple users, so proceed with caution from now on. I'm not responsible for any encrypted drives or any problems that you face using these tips. Okay, first tip that we'll look at is create an encrypted drive or an encrypted partition. If you have your private files stored under encryption, then there is a good chance of it being safe. You will be safe from cyber attacks and from any kind of surveillance because your files are encrypted. The best encryption standards are AES, Towfish, Blowfish, RSA and DDES. DDES is currently considered one of the highest, but DDES and AES are good encryption methods and I personally use them. Using encryption, your drives, your important data will always stay secure. The only problem is do not lose your encryption keys. If you do, then there is no way to get it back. Especially if you're using really high standards like AES 2048 or DDES, the key strength, once it is above certain standards, then it will be impossible to break it. So make sure you know what you're doing and make sure that you keep your encryption keys safe. When you're chatting or doing certain kinds of communication that you want to remain private, that you want it to be safe, or you don't want anyone to snoop around on your communications, then use end-to-end encryption. Example would be OTR messaging, and many other forms of end-to-end encryption are available. So use those kinds of things that can actually keep your communication safe. Transferring files to your friends or some important files when you're sending it through email or any other file transfer, try to use encryption. Keep it encrypted so that there can never be a man-in-the-middle attack wherein some hacker actually snatches your files in between, copies it, and he has a copy of his own of the file. Use HTTPS wherever possible. So if you have any important things that you're doing and that site is available in HTTPS, prefer it in HTTPS. The next step that you should follow is use two-stage authentication wherever possible. So if your example is Google, your Google account, it supports two-stage authentication. Your bank accounts will support two-stage authentication. And the final tip in this video is use encryption and encryption software on your phone as well. Most of the communication and most of the browsing and many of the interactions that we have with social media are actually done on our phone nowadays. So use whatever you can to encrypt your data on your phone so that a hacker cannot actually get hold of the data on your phone, your personal information, your phone contacts, your photos. All of these things shouldn't be actually hacked by any person or shouldn't be viewed by any of the unknown people. So do whatever it is that you have to do to encrypt your phone. iOS has its own encryption, Android has its own encryption, but there are also a lot of third-party softwares and apps that you can use to hide your things. But be careful when you're using apps. There are a lot of rogue apps that are actually causing more breaches in privacy than if you were to keep your phone as it is. So be careful of what you're installing on your phone. New data suggests that most of the breaches that happen on your phone, most of the identity theft cases that happened using phones actually happened due to rogue softwares that were installed on it. So these malicious apps actually take your data and they are using it for wrong things. So be very careful where you're installing your apps from. If you are just installing open APKs from anywhere, be very careful what you're installing on your phone. And before we end the video, one more bonus tip that I want to offer everyone is, and this applies to everyone, not just if you are a pro user or if you are a high-tech user. Be careful what you're sharing on social media and keep the data on your social media private. Because if you are just keeping everything open on your social media and you're sharing your entire world with the social media, I have seen people who are snapping pictures of passports and posting it on social media, their driver's licenses. I just got my driver's license and they're taking pics of it and posting it on social media. Don't be as dumb as these people. Be careful what you're posting on social media and use a bit of common sense. Keep your social media profiles private. You don't need to show it to the entire world. Only show what you have to the entire world, and rest of the things keep it private for your friends and family. We hope you liked the video today. Is there any other means of keeping yourself safe from all of these attacks that you want to add? Just leave them in the comments below and share the video with your friends so that they will also know about how they can be safe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. This was Jamie for Top EVT. We hope you have a nice day.